Is going to be interesting because I haven't done this before. So, Lori Jean here, and my YouTube channel has in the past been used for when I've dropped in some tips on quick, easy ways to work the core of your body to anchor your core strength so you can move this gorgeous house of yours through time and space. I've talked about diet, mindset, nutrition tips. The holistic health healer that I am has focused in that area, but the spiritual holistic health healer that I am, living out in beautiful British Columbia by the ocean and in amongst nature, is being called to share during this time tips, strategies, ideas from my own personal experience to help us all navigate these interesting times that we are in. And change is the word that I'll use to anchor it, because change is what happens. We are here, you, me, we signed on to this earth plane existence, this current experience as the soul that we are in this particular form. This is my house for this lifetime. I don't get to move. I can change my mailing address, but all I can do is renovate the house I live in, right? I can renovate it by making changes to what I do, what I be, what I think, what I consume. Those are the things that allow me to find what is the best version of this external and internal body that my soul can have the very juiciest, best experience in, because that's why we're here. A soul can't viscerally touch and taste and smell and see and know and connect in a way that our physical body allows. So that's why we have this experience. And when the time comes to leave the physical body that we are in, off we go. And when we choose again, when the time is right for a different experience, it'll be a different experience. But here you are, and here I am. And no matter where we go, here we are. So how do we find grounding? How do we find peace and calm in the perceptual chaos of the external world that we see around us? Well, number one, ask yourself. And I'll just, before I get started, because you guys don't know me, I'll try and share a little bit of my story as I weave it in and amongst these little videos that I'm going to do. And if you're watching this and I don't know you or you don't know me, drop some comments of stuff that is resonating or things you want to know more about, because the purpose of this is just to serve. It's to offer some wisdom from my own personal experience. So if I'm saying something, I'm telling you, I've lived it. I've lived it and I've learned it and I've viscerally seen what the benefits are. So when I say see, I had up until really the last few years, like the journey of our life is the journey of our life all the time. But on a conscious level, if I think of how I have started to see with different eyes, we have these two eyes. Those are the eyes that see the external around us. But you and I both know, if I'm standing with you at a street corner and I say, hey, look across the street, tell me what you see. You know that you and I could see something completely different, even though it's the same thing we're looking at. Why? Because our eyes are the windows of our soul, which is based on realities past, realities now. Everything we see externally is based on what is going on inside of us. Our internal world creates our external reality. So if you don't like what is happening externally, guess what you got to do? You got to take your eyes and go inside. That's where the mess is. We have been conditioned not to go there. We have been conditioned to numb out those not liking the external world. We have been conditioned to lash out and blame anybody else out there for what is going on out there, because heaven forbid, it has nothing to do with me and my internal world. We have been conditioned to avoid change, to avoid uncomfortable feelings, to avoid perceptual pain. But what if, just what if all of that wasn't true? What if perceptual pain, perceptual discomfort, perceptual I don't like this was instead our bodies trying to speak to us, but we don't know the language yet? Nobody ever taught us body speak. So I speak English. Et aussi, je parle français. Mais the truth is, those are just languages that are external languages that got internalized to me. But my internal world has its own language. So does yours. Our bodies speak to us through the sensations and the feelings that are there. Our thoughts, we're going to talk about this another time, because a lot of times the thoughts we think are based on what our eyes see externally, and they are messing us up. But for now, change is happening at a very, very rapid rate externally. There is so much light being poured down on this planet, nourishing, healing, gifting, whole-bodied, embodied light. But it's really hard to take it all in. It's like going out in the sunshine when, like right now, it's dark and rainy and cold most every day out here on the West Coast. And if all of a sudden it was to go from there to 30 degrees in heat, or like you take your annual vacation. So if you live in northern climates that get dark and wintry and cold, and then you take your 1 week vacation and you go down south to somewhere in the Caribbean and you go from minus 40 to plus 40 and super hot, that amount of intensity and that light and that heat, that's a lot for the body to adapt to. We feel it. We feel it viscerally because our cells can only handle so much at a time. Well, when there's change going on and it's like, woo, and it's too fast, like riding the roller coaster where it's too fast, it does not feel so good, does it? You get a little dizzy. You get a little tipped off kilter. But it's a gift. Why is it a gift? When you're tipped off balance, what happens? I've fallen down so many times. I fell down because I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't present. I wasn't there in the moment in my body. I don't fall down the way I used to. Why? Because when I move my body through time and space, because of the injuries I have incurred, I am very present about how I'm moving. And that generally is an experiential thing. But for the longest time, I just didn't pay attention. I was so everywhere else that I wasn't in this now moment. But all I ever have, all you have, is this now moment. So I use the analogy of, if you're walking along and you're so distracted, you're not paying attention, it's so easy to trip and fall, isn't it? Or to trip and stumble and lose your balance. And then all of a sudden, you're brought into the present moment. Why? Because all you have is the present moment. Your body's trying to talk to you to get you into this now present moment. So as we, trying to keep this video short, one tip, as we are offered massive change in our external world right now, I invite you to ask the question, what am I paying attention to? What are my eyes taking in? What is the information I am allowing in? Am I present and choosing that information? And if I am, when I take it in, how does it make me feel? Does it make me feel good and right? And your moral compass inside, your intuition, your gut feeling, whatever words you want to use to describe that all-knowing knowingness inside, if you can learn to slow down and get in your body and get present with that, you will hear your body talk to you and tell you if that information you are taking in is good for you or if it's not good for you. So that's really, really important, is to ask, what am I consuming consciously and unconsciously, present moment or distracted? and start to discern. Start to get like your pen, your paper, and make notes. Holy crap, I trip and fall every time I go out walking. Holy crap, I have no recollection of half my day because I'm so distracted running around like a madwoman trying to get these to-do lists done, or I'm always in a state of anger, frustration, bitterness. I'm on the edge. I'm feeling like I'm going to lose it. Why do you have to be that way right now? You have been conditioned, because I was conditioned to think that that's how we were supposed to be showing up. I am the past president of the She Who Can Be in Functional Burnout, the best for the longest wins club. I have been the past president of that many, many times. So on the other side of recovery, I had to really get honest and real and say, why am I doing this? My body is screaming at me. And then it was crying because I wasn't listening to that all-knowing, that inner world, that intuition. I was so focused on the external and so distracted by the external. I had lost the ability to pay attention to the most important thing I could, which was me and my inner world. Because the reality I have out here, that is directly a result, 100% a result of what is going on in here, in my heart brain, in here, in my gut brain, and up here in the third brain. So it is so critical and so important and such a gift to give to yourself to start to discern. Start to ask those questions and just notice when you are in your body, when you are in your own inner world, and when you are not. No judgment, no beating yourself up, no labeling allowed. Just notice. The more you notice, the more you can pivot. And as a child, we do this naturally, don't we? Those imaginary friends, did any of you have imaginary friends? I did. I would sit for hours playing in the imagination of my mind. It was normal. It was allowed as a child. I was allowed to do that. And yet somehow it got conditioned out of me so that if I was being a human being me, Lori Jean, totally acceptable as a child, but all of a sudden as an adult, I was conditioned. My perception told me that I must be doing. I needed to be a doing machine all the time. And I lost sight of that gorgeous, beautiful, fantastical, magical, unbelievable imaginary world inside of me, coming back in to me as I am now. I found it. And you know what? The external world that I live in is an exact representation of this beautiful place that's inside me. And that's how each and every single one of us are here learning. And wherever you are on your journey, see if this information resonates. See if it's, check in with your body, check in with your heart, check in with your gut. Is there something resonating in there where it's like, yeah, that noticing thing. I think I got to start noticing that. Yeah, thank you. And if that's the case, blessings. Thank you. And we will speak again soon.